May 16th, 1861, in Gilmington, New Hampshire, Levi Horton Muggett and Theodore Page Price gave birth to Herman Webster Muggett. Little did they know that he would become America's first serial killer. H.H. Holmes Podcast by Sam
and Calen.
Today I am interviewing Jeff Muggett. He is the great-great-grandson of H.H. Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Muggett, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I have some questions for you about your 3 times great-grandfather.
All right, I can answer them.
Okay. The first question is, what was he like as a child?
Holmes, as a little kid, was very interested in human skeletons that you see at the doctor's office. As a kid, he loved to dissect animals and find out how they worked. Now, this I find that was very creepy. The scientists think that this contributed to what Holmes did in his castle.
So what was his castle?
His castle was his house, his hotel, and his torturing facility.
Okay, so what was his castle like?
In the top section of his castle was his housing and hotel. His middle part was his pharmacy, his business, and the bottom is where he tortured people.
Was it true that some rooms were sealed shut and he used gas asphyxiation chambers, and also he had rooms with blowtorches built into the walls to burn his victims?
Unfortunately, yes. He also used the torches to torture people, and they were mostly in the top rooms of the hotel, and he also had some in the bottom rooms. The basement was where he killed people. There was chutes leading to the basement. Investigators found a surgical table in the basement spattered with blood. They also found jars of poison and boxes of bones. He also had his own crematorium and vats of acid and 2 lime pits that could dissolve a body in a matter of hours. Chutes from the prison rooms slid bodies directly into the basement. So you can really see that Holmes planned this out when he built the castle.
Now, the bigger question is his castle still standing?
No, it is not. It is turned into a post office right now, but there is a little part of the basement under the post office that was from his castle.
Now, do you think that because there is still a portion left in the post office, do you think that it could be haunted?
Yes and no. Researchers have investigated it, and they found voices in the castle, but they've never really found out for sure.
So really it's just a thing where if you believe in ghosts, then
Basically.
it could be.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Now, with everything you're telling me that Holmes did with his castle, was he a serial killer?
Yes, he was America's first serial killer. Now, researchers have found that there was 28 bodies that were found in his basement, but some people believe that there were many more.
Now, what did he do with the bodies after he murdered them?
Now, this is a touchy subject that I don't really like to talk about because it's just icky to me because it's my great-great-grandpa, but Holmes did many things with the bodies. One thing was that he burned the bodies in the lime in the basement, he had a creamery that was just big enough for one body to fit in. He also made them into full skeletons and sold them to hospitals, which I think is really, really creepy.
So now, how do you feel about what he did?
Like I said before, very creepy and just out of my mind. Why would he ever do that?
So, along with the murders, Holmes was to be said to work with insurance scams, and it was one of these that led him to his undoing. The one in particular that I'm talking about is when he joined forces with Benjamin Pizzle to collect $100,000 from a life insurance company. And then the two traveled around for a while, for a time, for committing other frauds, and this landed them in jail in Texas. When they got out, Holmes brought a fellow inmate, Mr. Hedgepleath, who knew Holmes as H.M. Howard. He was on one of the insurance scams with Mr. Pizzle and him when Holmes failed to deliver Mr. Hedgepleath's share of the deal. He then tipped off the authorities. While they eventually identified Howard, or H.H. Holmes, as Holmes, the authorities did not catch on to Holmes. Soon enough, this would stop his final murders. He killed Pizzle and then convinced Pizzle's widow that her husband was still alive. Becoming concerned that the 5 Pizzle children might expose him, he went away with 3 of them and eventually killed them.
Yes, this all is very true. He later stood trial for the murder of Benjamin Pizzle. Holmes gave numerous stories to police, once admitting to killing 27 people. Estimated range was from 20 to 100 victims. If Holmes even did half of the crimes associated with him, he clearly surpassed as America's first serial killer. After his conviction, Holmes appealed his case but lost. He met his end on May 7th, 1896, when he was charged for the Pizzle murder in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Now, how do you feel that that was what your great-great-great-grandfather did?
Well, I'm not really proud of it, but history is history and you can't change it. It's what it is.
I don't know what else. Are you almost ashamed of what he did?
Since it was my great great grandfather, no, because that was such a long time ago that I was not alive for a long time, and I mean, kind of am. I mean, it's my history, but it does not affect me nowadays.
Okay. Now, some people have said that H.H. Holmes could essentially be Jack the Ripper. Do you think that this is true?
Yes, that is so ironic that you would mention that, because I am actually writing a book this winter about Jack the Ripper and how he killed 5 prostitutes on the street but H.H. Holmes mainly targeted women. But I saw the police drawings of who Jack the Ripper was supposed to be, and it matches H.H. Holmes almost exactly.
So, are there any other facts that support what you have found?
Yeah, I hired a British handwriting expert to compare Muggett's script with letters said to have been written by Jack the Ripper from London media, and the test came back a match according to the letter from the analysis. Now, I also had a New York film analyze the samples via a computer and also confirmed a match. And they say that Holmes once told a lawyer that he had visited London at one point in time.
So, to go into more depth about Jack the Ripper, it says that from August 7th to September 10th in 1888, Jack the Ripper terrorized the Whitechapel district in London's East End. He killed at least 5 prostitutes and mutilated their bodies in an unusual manner, indicating that the serial killer had a knowledge of human anatomy.